What's up YouTube, Dave with the wargames, bringing you again one of my more powerful decks in the upcoming format, and that is Dinos. Now, Dinos have the ability to run and abuse hand traps, as well as bringing out one of the most powerful boss monsters in the game to the board, and using and abusing both Synchros, Link Monsters, and Rank 4 XYZs in the extra deck, and play one of the more powerful Floodgate trap cards in today's game. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through this. I'll also show you my side deck and exactly explain a nice little combo that can kind of shut your opponent down and cause them a lot of issues. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what we got. We've got triple Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This card is insane. Incredibly powerful card. Absolute boss monster. Burning, killing, the whole 9 yards. This card is insane. Triple Soul Eating Overactor. Again, incredibly powerful card. You should all know what it does by now. Double Baby Ceresaurus to help you extend your plays. The one Overtex. The one Giant Rex, the one Miscellaneousaurus, and the one Dracaleo. Now, you don't have to play Dracaleo. I just still really like the synchro plays of both Chambara and, of course, Trishula. And then finishing off the dinos, we do have the one Dogoran, the Mad Flame Kaiju, because it is a searchable Kaiju, and breaking boards these days isn't always that easy. For the hand traps, you've got, of course, triple Ash, double Droll, double Ogre, triple Gamma, and a single Driver. Now, if you don't want to play the Gamma Driver engine, of course you can play 3 Vet Failures and bump up either your Ogre or Droll, really dependent on the hand traps of what you're going to be facing, and kind of breaking the meta with these cards. That's it for the monster lineup. Of course, the hand traps serve double purpose in this deck, because if you do get the double evolution pill, you want to be banishing them from your graveyard to bring out your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno or your Overtex. Moving on to the spells, we've got triple Lost World. This card is one of the cards that can shut your opponent down and cause your opponent a hell of a lot of issues. I'll explain to it when we get to the side deck. Triple Fossil Dig, triple double Evolution Pill, double Terraforming, because that's what it's at, double Call by the Grave, because again, that's what it's at. And then a nice little spicy tech to kind of help you bait out cards is double Mind Control. Now that Goblin is no longer a thing, you can target your opponent's monsters as long as you want. Going second with this deck can be very powerful, because the hand traps will disrupt them, your dinos can OTK them, and then be able to go Mind Control and steal one of their cards that either breaks their link, breaks their extra link, or just causes them a huge amount of issues. It can be very good. So let's say you've been U-linked. If you activate Mind Control and steal one of their link monsters, like say Link Karibo, you can link it away with your... if they give you the Ibli, link it away with the Ibli, make a link 2, straight away. If it's going to be, let's say you go into the Phoenix, you'll get a discard and pop a back row and a draw, because it will be co-linked to one of their monsters 9 times out of 10. You've then obviously got past the whole Ibli link. You then get to go into your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, do even more plays. The alternative to a Mind Control is you take control of one of your opponent's monsters and then pop it with the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and book a moon and everything else. So you've cleared their board. If it's a troublesome card, you still pop it. Let's say it's one Link Monster and they've got one normal monster on board. You take their Link Monster, pop their Link Monster, flip their normal monster face down, and you've caused them a hell of a lot of issues. So definitely a nice tech to play. It is a 42 card deck, so if you don't like it, take it straight out. The one Monster Reborn, because bringing back Ultimate Conductor is going to be a pain to deal with. And then of course the one Dark Hole, because Dark Hole in this deck is actually better. Should you brick, but you have a way of getting to Baby, you put Baby face down and Dark Hole the board, clearing off your Baby and then getting the effect of the Baby to push your place further forward without having to go into the battle phase. So that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we play a nice little combo of Synchros, XYZs, and of course Link Monsters. So I'll start with the Synchros. You've got the Omega to go off with your Gamma and Driver. You've got your Chambara to help you with your game with your Ultimate Conductor. You've got your Trishula Dragon, which can obviously help you going first and second, ripping another one from your opponent's hand. Let's say you get Gamma off because they've ashed you or something. You Gamma, take away one of their cards already, so they're now down to... Just trying to get my maths right. They're now down to 3 cards in hand. You go Trish, you put them down to 2. They've then got to play their starting hand with 3 cards and have to try and break your board and beat your board with 3 cards. And that's not to mention if you get any rank 4s on board as well. The Link Monsters, because they are less represented, we've got the one Nightmare Phoenix, the one Nightmare Unicorn, the Boral Sword, which will win you games, switching Conductor to defense mode, which you don't worry about because he's a 32 defender, and then going in for game. And of course the one Borolo Dragon, because this gets you out of sticky situations. Now onto the rank 4s. Now, starting off with the rank 4s, we do have the number 103 Ragnar Zero. This could be very, very disruptive if you've got Lost World on play, because everything apart from dinos lose 500. So once your opponent puts a monster on board that you feel might cause you an issue, you use this effect, detach, pop it, and then draw one card. Very, very good, very, very powerful. We've then got, of course, the one Tornado Dragon to deal with back row. You can play Baguska, but I just feel that at this moment in time, between Baguska and Tornado Dragon, because it's not heavy back rows, I mean, they're more relevant. Tornado is more relevant against Sky Strikers, and because Baguska shifts everything to defense, Link monsters aren't affected. So it's very pick and choose and how you want to play. I just feel Tornado Dragon has that bit of an edge over, of course, Baguska. We've then got the one Evil Soul Dolka, less played than, of course, the next card, which is why we play 2 of it, and that's double Evil Soul Lagia. Lagia, going into your first turn with a Lagia and Conductor, can cause your opponent a huge amount of issues. It's basically a walk-in warning without paying 2k, which can be very, very, very important. And then, of course, we go up with our one Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. This card lets you reset the board state. If you're popping one of your own babies, again, it's like a dark hole that then gets you an additional effect off. Yes, your opponent doesn't take any more further damage, but what does it matter? You've nuked the board, reset the game state, and off you go, ready to go. It's always nice having this as a backup should you absolutely need it, because sometimes you might, and it might cause you a couple of issues if you don't have it to hand. Then, of course, we've got the one Super Dreadnought Gustav Max. This card obviously can win you games. If you've got 2 Ultimate Conductors and you haven't been able to finish off the game, going into this guy to burn him for another 2,000 can actually win you the game. It's less relevant, so you can take this out if you want, but it still provides a lot of help in this deck to help push you further forward. The last card can either be, of course, Baguska, or it'll be this card here, and that is Underclock Taker. Now, the reason I like Underclock so much in this deck is you then get to reduce your opponent's monster by the amount of attack that Conductor has. So if they've got a full board, you make Underclock. Underclock reduces one of your opponent's monsters to 0, because I'll be very surprised if they've got anything of 35 or above. You then use, because Conductor can attack all of your opponent's monsters, you use that to beat through your entire opponent's board and then attack someone for 35 direct, and if the rest is in defense, you're then burning them for a K each. It gives you a play to move your boards further forward, reduce their board to pretty much 0, and get over any beat monsters you might have trouble dealing with. So that's it for the extra deck. Now moving on to the side deck. So for the side deck, we of course play 2 Shed Ride. Should we be going first, we do want additional draw power to get into our hand traps and disrupt our opponent as much as we can. 2 Twin Twisters to deal with any of those troublesome anti-spells, Imperial Orders and stuff like that, which can really shut this deck down, alongside triple Red Reboot. Of course, we've got triple Evenly Match because we do like going second, so being able to clear our opponent's board and leave them with 1 card is very, very useful and can put them back to square 1. We've then got triple Effect Veiler. This can be impermanence if you wish. Obviously, the reason we haven't got impermanence in this is because Effect Veiler adds to the double evolution pill, whereas impermanence doesn't. So it's entirely up to you on which one you would like to choose. And then finally, one of the MVPs is triple Rivalry of the Warlords. The Rivalry is a massive MVP in your side deck. Because the majority of your main deck monsters are dinos, and of course, your dinos are beasts. Like, you're absolute wrecking the board with an Ultimate Conductor. Your opponent will really, really struggle to get past Rivalry. It clears their boards and causes them a huge amount of issues. The best thing is, if this combo's off with Lost World, your opponent is screwed. Now, the reason your opponent is screwed is because you activate Lost World, give your opponent a dinosaur token. If, during your opponent's standby phase, before they're able to normal summon anything, you flip Rivalry on them, they are stuck in dinos. They cannot put anything on the board apart from that dino. So all you really need to do is wait your time. So all you do is you let them struggle. They can't get rid of that token. Unless, of course, they've got the field spell for the... unless the field spell for Sky Strikers resolves, and obviously you're going to try your best to stop that happening. Or, of course, they have, I think it's Grenosaurus, or the dinosaur that they play in Gokis right now, to be able to get that on the board. But even then, you are still causing them as much disruption as possible, and you'll hopefully have your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno on board, or causing them as many issues as possible, alongside, of course, your hand traps. So you've got to be very, very careful with how you kind of put the plays further forward, but you can cause your opponent a huge amount of issue with this card. On top of that, Rivalry is always going to be hard for anyone to deal with, especially Invoked. Invoked really, really struggle to get past Rivalry. And then on top of that, if you're flipping all their monsters face down so they can't be linked off into the new Alistair Link monster, they're in such a bad situation that dinos can really take advantage of this new format coming up. So, that is it for the Dino deck. One of these decks did actually win an LLDS this weekend, but because it was the old ban list, I didn't want to... I mean, they don't really use and abuse anything that has changed in the ban list, so they're not at that big of a risk. I think the only thing they've really lost is the one Called by the Grave, in my opinion, and maybe the Goblin, but they didn't even need to use and abuse that much. But for now, what I am telling you is keep an eye on dinos. If they bring back Construct, Dino Shaddolls will be a massive thing, and all those cards will be picked up. So if you can pick up your dinos, pick them up now. They will either be an anti-meta contender or an underdog contender, or of course they will become a meta contender depending on how the ban list shifts in the future or the meta shifts in the future. Ultimate Conductor is still one of the most scary boss monsters around, and then moving that on top of all the cards that they can play as anti-meta or floodgates to stop your opponent playing, this deck can seriously cause opponents issues. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time guys, as always, happy dueling. Also YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, and of course don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round, so don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always guys, happy dueling.